join me in welcoming Bisola, also known as Whiz Queen, to the Thriving Immigrant podcast.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much, Paul, for the nice welcome. I'm really happy to be here. I can't wait to share my story.
Okay. So, first off, I want to ask you, how did the name Whiz Queen, how did that name come about?
That's an interesting story. People always ask me, like, how did you come about the name Wiz Queen? And I love to tell the story all the time. Um, it wasn't originally Wiz Queen, it was actually Slim Queen. When I was in my early teenage years, I had not even hit puberty by then, but I was very skinny, I was very slim. So I was using the name Slim Queen. But as I hit puberty, I was no longer slim anymore. So I was like, okay, so what other name can I use to still represent like the queen? Because I'm like a queen. So I figured, okay, the best word that I could use to represent was like whiz. Whiz meaning like a wizard, a genius, a resourceful person, a smart, skillful person. So I felt that was in line with who I am as a person, and I just chose that word. And obviously, I'm a queen, and today the name just seems perfect. I've been using the name for over 15 years now.
Oh,
Yeah. I started like at the age of 13 or 14. So it's been a long time.
okay. Powerful. Interesting. I didn't even think about that story. So, I don't want to go into the details of how Slim Queen turned to Whiz Queen, but I think I like the Whiz part of the name. So, kudos, well done.
Thank you.
Now, you moved to Canada, I think about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And do you want to share your inspiration? Like, what inspired you to move to Canada? Why Canada?
Oh, that's a very good question. Because I had two options on the table, which was coming to Canada as a permanent resident or moving to the US as a student, so to go there for my master's. However, I had to do like a lot of research to decide that, okay, I think Canada will be the choice. And it came down to the fact that I would have been moving to Canada as a permanent resident as opposed to moving to the US as a student. But why did I even decide to go on an immigration journey or even like leave my home country? I was doing well in Nigeria. I had a good paying job. I had a thriving business as well. But at some point, I felt like I had hit my plateau where my job wasn't really giving me the excitement and the spark anymore. And my business was not doing as like businesses are supposed to be growing, but mine was reaching the point where it was at its peak and much wasn't happening anymore. And mostly because of the exchange rate in Nigeria because I was into like buying and selling things from abroad. So it got to that point where buying was becoming very expensive, profit was reducing. And I was like, okay, with the way things are going right now, I'm not sure this exchange rate would ever come down. So in order to get the best value for the currency or the money that I have right now, I need to start putting it to good use in a foreign currency. So that's kind of how I started to figure, okay, what are my options? What do I need to do? What's the future for me here? And what are the options for me? So that's kind of why I decided to go on an immigration journey. But coming to Canada was very challenging as well, even deciding to come here because I came here at the age of 23 all by myself. I didn't have any friends or any family. I literally knew nobody in Canada when I decided to move here. So it was a whole lot of learning experience for me, figuring out things on my own. There was no one to ask questions, and I had to like go out of my way to find resources that could help me. So yeah, but it's been fun over the last 5 years. It's been really nice. I have no regrets.
Powerful. At some point I was smiling because I just imagine you talking about the exchange rate challenge 5 years ago.
It's worse now. It's worse now. And the exchange rate then was $250. I remember.
I've
Sorry,
got no
250
words
naira to $1. I
to one
remember.
Canadian dollar.
Yeah.
Mm, I've got no words because I'm not here to give out any negative energy. But I think you were being proactive, like saying that no, this trend is scary. So I think you thinking about trying to do something else with your life at that point. I'm sure you are looking back and you are like, oh, you should be proud of yourself that you made some good.
100%. 100%. All my friends that were doing things together then, They were like, you had the first, even till now, one of them still told me last week, like, you had the foresight that we didn't have, like, you were seeing what we couldn't see. Because when I was leaving, they were like, why are you leaving? Like, it makes no sense. You're going abroad to start life all over again, and you don't even know what you're going to be doing there. But I was like, yeah, I get it, but like, I'm still very young now. No better time to take that kind of risk than now. So,
Hmm.
and
Powerful.
what's the worst that could happen? I could always go back
Go
home.
back. Right. Of course, I understand that most people have that go through that. I call it exciting and the exciting feeling and also there's an anxiety part to it. Like you are leaving your country, there's this excitement like, oh, okay, I'm going to the abroad. But if you've had like a good career, you would have some fears like, am I gonna start from the beginning or what am I gonna do when I
Was my
get to my
future
new
like?
country?
Mhm.
In your own case, you moved there and you started working. I've checked your profile and I see that you've even done some amazing things in the tech industry. And all of a sudden, you say you are no longer doing nine to
Doing
five.
it.
And I'm like, in this Canada, somebody just woke up and said, you know what? After making all this good money in the tech industry, I just want to be a content creator. So, do you want to talk to us about why you decided to become a full-time content creator and how lucrative is it? Does it actually pay? Is there money in
Mm.
content creation? Because some of us just feel like people are just jumping up and down, dancing. Do you gradually get paid? And how lucrative is the content creation industry? If I can call it an industry.
Yes. I have so much to say. I don't even know where to start from because you asked me two questions in one.
Yeah,
Why did I decide to leave and if it's lucrative, right?
yes.
Okay, cool. Let's start with the first one. So again, one thing about me is I like challenges. I like having to figure out things. I like something, that's where I get my excitement from. So if I'm doing something and like I've been successful at it and it's gotten to that point where there's no longer anything new about it, I start to get bored. So I need something challenging all the time. And I don't know, it's not a good thing. It's not if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I kind of like to be put on my toes so that I'm figuring out things and creating solutions, solving problems. And that's where I get my excitement from. That's where I get the drive from. And with my job at the time, it was good. I was learning, I was making money, good money. But I got to the point where it was no longer giving me that excitement and fulfillment anymore. And it got worse because we just came back from COVID and people started going back to the office and they were like, okay, yeah, it's time to start coming to the office, which would have been fun or would have been nice in itself because it's something new. However, for me, when it comes to like what I like, when it comes to making money, I like freedom. I like that flexibility. And that's something I had with my business back home in Nigeria, but my job as well was quite flexible. I was making good money. I had freedom as well. And when we were working from home remotely, everything was good. I liked it. It was allowing me to do other things that I'm passionate about. But now when it came to going to the office, it became like, okay, so I have to put aside these other things that I'm building that I'm sure of for my future, just because I want to put extra time towards doing this. I didn't that wasn't particularly something that sat well with me. And I know that for a fact that I'm typically not a 9 to 5 girl. I've always known this. There's nothing wrong with doing a job or like working a 9 to 5. It's just that I know that I don't get enough fulfillment from it. I can get money out of it. I can get the skill. I can do the job. I'm very good at the job, but I just don't get that fulfillment from it no matter what. I might enjoy it for a while, but that lasting fulfillment. And I don't know if most people get fulfillment from their job or their jobs. I think most people just do it, but I'm someone that I find it very like it's very important for me to get fulfillment and satisfaction in anything I do. And that's what I get from content creation. It gives me that flexibility, that creativity, freedom of choice, and all that. So that's kind of why I decided to do it. I would also like to mention that when I became a full-time content creator, I was already creating content on the side. I've been creating content now for over 6 years, even though I've just been doing this full-time for a year. So I don't want to say like it to seem like, oh, you just decided to jump head first into it. I already knew what I was doing. I had things all figured out before getting into it. So just to not give somebody out there the wrong perception that, oh yeah, you can wake up one day and quit your job and become a content creator. No, no, please make sure you have things all planned out and you're doing the right thing and you have, like, you've had asked questions and done your research accordingly. But in terms of how lucrative it is, there's so much to say. But one thing I'd like to put out there is the primary reason why I became a content creator was not just because of the money. Money is good, but for me, the way I see life is if you chase money, money would go. It will go away. But if you chase impact, money would follow. So that's the way I see it. And that's the way I view my content creation. Even before it started, before I was even able to make money from it, I see it as something that I want to make impact in people's life. I want to help people be the best versions of themselves. Then money can come from it. It wasn't the money first. Because if you want to do content creation for money first, you're not going to make money out of it. Trust me.
Hmm.
Because it's a lot of work. You do this. I know you're not into it like full time, but you do content creation as well. And you can tell that it's not something that you make like crazy amount of money from by just deciding that you want to chase the money. So
Powerful. That's quite profound. I love how I love what you talked about, like you saying that if you chase money, money will go, which is true because you will just keep chasing the money. But if you go after impact, once you find yourself offering value, money always come. Money will come with it. So
yeah.
nice one. So is that why you chose financial literacy and travel? Because you said you love freedom and you didn't say you love money. Okay. But I know as a content creator, there are different things. There are several things, or let me say, several, there are different, should I call it niche? Yeah, that you can choose. You can choose to become. There are a lot of things you can talk about
That's,
online.
yeah.
But why did you choose the financial literacy niche and also talking about travel? Yeah, I think those are the two
Those are
things you talk
core
about.
niche, yeah. I do entrepreneurship as well because
Okay.
but my primary niche is like finance and travel. So I, first of all, my degree, I have a bachelor's degree in finance. So I do have a lot of knowledge when it comes to finance. And I know that not a lot of people know how to manage money as well. So my primary goal with my content creation is to help people master their finance, like basically empowering people to secure their financial future while living their best lives. And whatever that means to you, for someone, it might mean being able to afford a dream vacation. For someone else, it might mean being able to buy their family home. For another person, it might be to be able to send their kids to school, like student loan free, right? Whatever that means to you. For me, I've figured that it means to be able to travel the world and share my experiences with people on social media. So that's basically what my content creation goal is to empower people to secure their financial future while living their best lives.
Awesome. Okay. So what has been the most challenging part of being a full-time content creator?
That's a good one because it comes with a lot of challenges. I don't even know which one to say. Okay, yeah, I'll say the primary one that comes to mind first, which is, you know how with your 9 to 5, your job gives you structure
Hmm.
where you have deliverables, you have KPIs, you have daily to-dos, you have daily tasks, and you know that you have to do it 9 to 5 every day, at least like for the most part. But with content creation, it's like a business. It's like entrepreneurship where you have to figure out your own structure on your own. And nobody tells you this is what you need to do, when you need to do them. It's you that have to figure out when you need to do them, what your due dates are, what your posting schedule is like. And we don't appreciate the fact that we get structure with our jobs enough. I
Hmm.
think I learned that after becoming a full-time content creator, because with your jobs, you have structure, you know what you're doing. But with content creation, it's like you're just going in there
Just
trying to figure out
floating.
what to do. And some days I wake up, I'm like, okay, so what do I do now? It's not like I don't know that these are some tasks that I need to complete, but like figuring out what to do first, how to organize them, how to figure out how to structure my day, it's very challenging. And some days you wake up with very low motivation. Even if you say, I have like all my tasks figured out for the week, because I sometimes do that where I have like a very structured schedule. But the day you decide that, okay, I want to wake up and film, you might wake up and not have the motivation to film. Like, and the audience will see that. I don't like to put myself in front of a camera if I'm not in the mood to speak. So on those days like that, then your schedule is disrupted, because it's like, oh yeah, I'm not in the mood to speak or to create content or to film. And energy is very, very important when it comes to these things, because if you're speaking with very low energy, then someone is like, okay, you don't sound like you want to be here. Are you really sure that you want to make impact? Because you don't seem like it. So if I feel like I'm not in that mood, I just don't create and I have to do something else. So in that case, sometimes it's you've either wasted time, you're not able to post. So all of these things just happen at the same time. So that structure is what I feel like I find very challenging to figure out for the most part.
Yeah, I
Sometimes,
completely
sorry,
agree.
sorry to cut you. Another thing is sometimes you end up working endless hours, whereas with your job, you can just know when to log off. But with this one, it's like that same structure thing, because you don't have it in place. You even find yourself working at 9 p.m. on a Sunday night when you should literally just be spending time with family or friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you are spot on. Of course, for me, I'm on both sides, and it's even more challenging running the two because there are times maybe I'm just driving on the road and an idea pops up in my head. I can literally just park and
Write
make
it down.
notes and write it down. So it's like you're always on the move. And just like you mentioned, if the energy is low, people can tell. I think I've done some videos, then I watched it. I'm like, why are you talking like this? But for like podcasting, for example, you schedule calls with people and you say, okay, we are meeting for our podcast. Maybe
Mhm.
we are recording on the so dates. You can't really tell what's going to happen on that day.
On
So
that day, yeah, true.
you, and when someone offers you their time, you just have to be there.
You have to
Like,
write it.
like we are recording this, ordinarily, I probably wouldn't want to do anything today. But because we've picked this date and I'm like, okay, let me just show up. I hope the energy is not so low. I hope you that you are listening to me, you can't feel that the energy is not low. But thanks to the whisk queen herself, so the energy in the room is up there.
You're making me feel like I'm having too much energy.
No, no, not quite, but I think you really helped the environment. So thank you for that. Right. So I was going to ask you, you answered that question, but you didn't really give us the figures, and I'm not asking for figures. How long have you been doing this full time? And do you think you've been able to replace your income? Or do you think what is coming from your content creation is paying your bills at the moment? And how promising do you think it is?
That's a good question that I know a lot of people want to hear answers to. Even people on my social media, I feel like everyone is waiting for me to say, oh, this is it, this is how much I've made and all that. So it's a very interesting one. It's good that you're asking on their behalf, because I know it's something people want to know. So in terms of how much how much I've made, or how much in comparison to my full-time job. First of all, I've been doing this almost a year now. By next month, by October, yeah, it's going to be a year that I actually quit. But I mentally started identifying myself as a full-time content creator this year. So my 1 year full-time content creation journey would be by the end of this year. So but in terms of if I've been able to replace my income from my previous job now, I'll be completely honest, no. The amount of money I've made so far from content creation is not like nearly as much. However, I know that this is something that is very promising. And I love that it's not something that it's not an overnight success. Again, that's why I say people should not start this, because that's their mission. It's something that you have to put different structures in place. Based on the structures that I've put in place right now, I've gone from just seeing myself as a content creator to having a content creation business where there
Hmm,
are multiple streams of income that are coming in as a content creator for me.
smart.
So this is something that would become promising over the years and like over time, even to the point that even when I'm no longer creating content, decide that I want to take a break from it for a while, I'll be able to afford doing that. And that's one thing that I love about it. With your job, there's like a limit to how much you can make based on your
Absolutely.
salary, your wages, your whatever. But when it comes to like content creation or having a business, entrepreneurship, there's no limit to it. The sky is literally your limit, depending on how much work you're willing to put in. So I do know that it's very promising. There's a lot of potentials there. And based on the systems that I've put in place right now, see me in the next few years. Catch me outside.
All right. Okay, that's so powerful. Makes sense. Now, you have over 50,000 followers on YouTube, correct?
Nearly, yeah.
Hmm. So how do you manage, should I call it fame and fortune? Because
Fame, what? Fame, please. I don't even think I'm famous.
okay,
Let's start that
but
one.
have you been in rooms or maybe in public places where somebody is like, oh, Whiz Queen, Whiz Queen?
Oh, okay. I get what you mean now. I don't consider it fame. I don't even know what to word it or what to name it. I think, yeah, people would identify me when I'm in spaces, even sometimes in church, when I go out to events, even grocery stores. People would identify me like sometimes you see someone looking at their phone and they're like, I feel like I know you. Have I met you somewhere? You seem familiar to me, things like that. So yeah, that happens quite a lot. And it's been interesting. It's always nice to meet people that like watch your content and they meet you in real life and they tell you, oh my God, you've changed my life. I follow your content. I've learned so much from you. Keep doing what you do. Like it gives you that validation to make sure you know that what you're doing is you're like on the right path and you're making the kind of impact you're looking for. So I really love that. But sometimes it could also be like an unexpected thing where in some spaces you're like not sure of what could happen, what you meet out there, and you're unprepared, you're like not prepared for it. So sometimes when I meet people and they're like, oh, I know you. Like you seem familiar to me. I'm like, probably, probably, but they are trying to have some conversations with you. So I've met people that when they meet me outside, they're trying to talk about personal finance. And I'm like, we're in a party. You don't even know if I'm tipsy. You want to ask me about financial advice. Please don't put me in trouble.
That's so funny, right? You don't want to get tipsy financial advice.
Please. You don't even know what my state of mind is. So please don't ask me this kind of questions right now. But yeah,
Right,
it's
but
always fun to meet people.
okay. Does that make you extra conscious? Like when you're walking on the road, maybe there are some things you would do.
Definitely. Definitely.
Hmm.
I care about my reputation a lot. There are times that maybe there are things that maybe I would have done in the past that I wouldn't do now because obviously my reputation is out there. People are watching what you're doing, they're paying attention to what you're doing. Even when it comes to like the smallest of things, you have to be very careful and cautious about it. So definitely makes me more cautious now.
Okay, makes sense. If the hands of time were turned and you let's say you are 18 years old now, with all the things you know, what would you do differently?
So like, what will I do differently at the age of 18? I think I would have slowed down a little bit.
Hmm.
I have always been this very super ambitious kid, like very hardworking, very driven. I knew kind of the kind of life I wanted for myself. So it made me like always extra ambitious, working hard and all that. But also at the same time, I deprived myself of some joy that I could have had then. So 18, I think I was in my final year in uni. So I would have probably tried to enjoy life a little bit more, which is what I'm doing now in the sense of like, yeah, I'm trying to also encourage people to save money to reach their financial goals and all that. But at the same time, live your best life because life is short. I'm not saying you should like YOLO and just do crazy things, but at the same time, while you are working towards those goals, you want to enjoy life because at the end of the day, you find that the destination is not where you get the most happiness, it's in the
Hmm.
journey,
Right.
right? So while you're working towards trying to become, for example, a millionaire, most people would never become a millionaire, but let's just use that as that's the destination you're trying to get there. On the road, you want to make sure that whatever you're doing to help you become a millionaire, you're enjoying it and you're making sure that you're making the most out of it because when you get to that millionaire success, you find that that satisfaction that you think you will get there, you might not find it. A lot
Hmm.
of millionaires, they tell us these things that, oh, money doesn't bring happiness, and we don't believe it. But if you think about it deeply, they are the one there that they can tell you from their own experience. And it makes sense to me now. Before, I don't used to make sense out of it. But now that I've attained some level of financial stability, I can understand what they're saying in the sense that you need to make sure you enjoy the journey, like how you want to get there, not necessarily the destination, because that would not give you the fulfillment that you think you get.
Profound. That was very powerful. I read an article that was talking about there's an income level you hit that nothing changes again when it comes to the level of your happiness, and it's just a little bit above, maybe 100. I
Yeah.
think I think about $200,000. So the moment you hit, I can't quote the exact figure, but I know that it is less than $300,000 per year. So the same level of happiness attached to money at that level of income is probably the same level of happiness for someone making $1 million, $2
$1 million.
million
Yeah.
dollars a year.
I
So
wish I saw that article. It's something I would like to read to get like further insights because I didn't read it anywhere. It's just from like millionaires, all these people that are wealthy, when you hear them talk about like happiness and all these things, but it never makes sense. But as I grow and I start to get to, I'm not a millionaire yet, obviously, but like as you start to attain some level of financial stability, you start to understand that those things that you truly enjoy, they're not really tied to money. That's why you see all these billionaires, like not even billionaires, even people that are financially stable. You see them having like pets, having chickens, having like these are the things that you find them going back to
right.
when you'll be wondering that why didn't you do that when you were much younger? Like this doesn't make sense for you now. But they're doing it at that point in time because maybe that's something they could have done earlier, but they didn't get the chance to do, and now they're getting joy from doing it. So yeah, that's the advice I'll give to my younger self, honestly, to just slow down and enjoy the process. You'll be
Um,
fine.
Inspiring. Thank you. Okay. So you talked about you creating content creation. Is it business where you can make money without always creating content? So is it like, are you talking about mentoring people, or do you have any program that you want to speak on?
Oh yeah, so when it comes to like my content creation, I've created like different avenues from it. Like coaching, I do have like one-on-one sessions. So for example, if you're listening to this right now and you want to book a chat with me, I do have that. I have like 30 minutes and 1 hour session, and I can help you with any goals that you have, either financial goals, either content creation goals, either travel goals. It could literally be anything. I speak to a lot of immigrants, like new immigrants in Canada, quite frequently on different topics. Sometimes some people just want to like pick my brain and share ideas, and they speak to me on that regard. So maybe I'll share the link with you. You can add it to the podcast if anybody wants to book a chat. But also, I do have like challenges from time to time, like money challenges, social media workshops where I help people learn new skills. So I have an upcoming 30-day money challenge to help people make their first $1,000 online. And that challenge is starting. That challenge is starting off on November 1st. So I would
Okay.
love for anyone listening, if they would like to participate, they can join. Maybe I can also offer a discount as well. Um,
Okay. Yeah, you can offer a discount. Like, let
um, what would be ideal? I don't know. Um, I'll share a discount code with you. It'll probably be something relating to the name, like Thrive
okay.
or something. So maybe a 20% discount. I think that would be a sweet spot to encourage more people to join. Because again, this is for me, this is not about the money. This is about you getting like knowledge that could help you transform your future, learning new skills that could help you make money and attain that financial stability that you're looking for. In Canada, most times people will have like jobs and all these things, but how about you build other streams of income that can help you reach your money goals faster, right? So I would give a 20% discount. I'll use the name Thrive with 20 or something, Thrive 20. I think that's a sweet, easy name to remember. So with Thrive 20, you can get 20% off to join the challenge starting November 1st. Then if you also want to book like a one-on-one chat with me, the link would be below for you to book a chat. I'm always happy to talk. I love to talk. If you can feel my energy, I love to talk. So if you want to talk to me, you can feel free to book a chat.
Okay. Thank you for being so generous. So if you are listening to me right now and you would like to jump on that challenge, you stand to enjoy 20% discount. Isn't that wonderful?
It's
I don't know,
amazing.
20% discount. And the good thing about this is there's a lot going on in the world right now. And there is no better time to add more skills and knowledge because when you add knowledge and you add more skills, you are empowering yourself. And the technology world has really changed a lot of things. So as the world gets tougher, people who have those skills will likely make more money. And the beauty of technology is you are not limited to a particular environment. You're not limited to a particular country. So if you get to understand how to create content or how to learn how to use all these digital marketing tools, you can be Ni in Nigeria, you can be in Ghana, you can be in
Making money.
Congo, and you can be making money.
Yeah.
Right. So technology is a beautiful thing that has kind of democratized opportunities. I feel like this is an amazing opportunity for our generation. People that were born 60 years, 70 years ago, some of them were even way smarter, but they didn't have the tools.
Opportunities, yeah.
They didn't have the tools, they didn't have the opportunity that they could use to monetize their skills. I understand that life is challenging at this point, but I feel like everyone still everyone has the opportunity to change their lives.
Yeah.
So
100%.
don't just be a consumer of technology and social media. Jump on the Whiz Queen challenge yourself and learn one or two things. You might not make money, but the thing about knowledge is once you have it, it will come in handy whenever
Yeah.
you need it. Okay. I think we're almost done. I'm almost rounding up, but there are still other things I would like you to touch on.
Hmm.
So, what has been the most challenging part of being an immigrant in Canada
For me or in general for most immigrants?
for you?
Um, the challenges I'm facing now, because again, things has changed. That's the thing about Canada. Like as you stay longer, as you grow, things will start to get better and much easier. So that's why even when I meet new immigrants and I speak to them, I always tell them it's only a matter of time. Things will get better for sure. Because the problems are just mostly short term or for a while. But right now, honestly, God has been so good. I can't really think of any challenge that I would say is holding me back. Most of the challenges that I have are like things that I know that I can conquer and like improve on or work towards something that is within my control. But right now that I know that the cost of living is really high, um, even rent, food, being able to afford a home right now is very challenging for most. So I do see that as like something that is affecting a lot of people. And it concerns me, it worries me because I have friends, I have family, I have people that are struggling to find jobs and all these things. So it's like we're working so hard, but like the standard of living compared to, or the quality of life compared to the cost of living is really deteriorating right now. And I just don't know if there's something we can do about it. We have no choice but to just keep going and keep pushing. And if there's anyone listening to this out there, I just hope you're inspired to keep trying your best. Just know that it's going to get better because yeah, it's really, really challenging right now. But what's that quote when they say tough times don't last, only tough people do, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
just pushing.
That's one of my mom's favorite quotes. She's been telling me that quote since I was maybe 3. She says it every time, and it has really been helpful. So tough times
So
don't
true.
last, but tough people do. So, okay. Thank you, Bisola, for sharing that. It's good hearing from you that life, like coming from someone like you that's been here for 5 years, when you talk about cost of living, it makes it relatable. Yeah, so people don't just think that, oh, it's because I'm new in Canada, that's why life. So a lot of things have changed in Canada, but it's global. It's not just Canada. since COVID happened, the global economy has been stressed and people are just trying
Recover.
to recover. But it's only it will get better. To get better. So
Yeah.
what is one thing that you think every immigrant, at least one thing every immigrant should know about finances in Canada?
When it comes to mastering your finance in Canada, you have to be intentional about learning. That's one thing that I always tell immigrants. In fact, I just started like a content series on like social media where I'm sharing like finance tip for newcomers. Like it's targeting towards newcomers because I want to help them understand their finances better. Because in Canada, if you are not like for the most part, most people when they move here, the financial system in Canada is probably very different from where you're coming from. So if you're not intentional about learning, you would not make the most out of it. So
Hmm.
like you have to be intentional about learning either by going on TRA website to read more about taxes, banking system, credit system, and all that, or you go on social media or you follow me, you watch YouTube videos and all that to help you learn how to make the most of your finances. Because trust me, in Canada, you don't want to continue to work and chase money. If you don't figure out structures to help you reserve your wealth or preserve it, I should say, you continue to pay a lot of money into taxes. You continue to like leave money on the table. You will not be able to make the most out of your finances. There are some people that I meet that they tell you they don't use their credit cards because they don't want to get into debt. And they're immigrants most times because they don't understand the credit system. And they've heard so many bad things about it that it's scaring them. But no, you should use your credit card. Right. So that's part of what I'm doing with this new content series that I'm posting to help people understand how the financial system in Canada works. So if there's any advice I'll give to anyone out there, be intentional about learning more, understand how it works.
Profound. Thank you for sharing that. So there you have it. Use your credit card, but understand how to use it so that you can make good benefits. You can maximize the benefits, or let me say, you can, yeah, maximize the benefits that come with using your credit card. So I've met a lot of people too that we say, you know what, I don't want to use my credit card. I don't work Brazil. Or I just
Like
say you are
why?
somehow you're leaving money on the table. Credit cards
You leave
though,
a lot of money on the table and not just even money. It's like you need to build your credit
yeah,
history. So
exactly.
you know that you live in a country where a lot of things is credit driven. Most
Yeah,
times you would not be able to have, you can't afford to buy a home out of pocket like with cash for the most part.
for the most part.
So if you don't have a good credit record, how would you be able to get a mortgage? Sometimes it could be even for like buying a car, so
Right.
things like that. And if you have good credit score, you get good interest rates that would in turn save you more money,
Money.
save you stress and all these things. So why don't you want to build your credit record by using your credit card? It's not about putting yourself into debt at all. If you know how to use it well, you get more value and more benefits from it.
Okay. So that's talking about credit card is a lot of conversation. So
You
we
can't even
can't
get into
we can't
it.
accommodate the entire conversation of credit card. That's why you should follow the Whiz Queen on social media, on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I also share financial content as well. So
I was going to say the same.
if you're listening to me for the first time, you can go on Instagram, Twitter. Oh, they call it X now. And my handle is at DAA Paul. I think that's it. So one last word for someone listening to you right now, and the person is thinking, I want to be a content creator. I want to enjoy the glamour that comes with it. I want to be like the Whiz Queen. What advice would you give that person?
Again, same thing I said before. Chase impact, then money would come after it. Don't start content creation for money. Chase impact, money would follow. You chase money, money would go away. That's the final words I would say. I know it means so many things to different people, but I hope everyone can understand it in the way I mean.
Yeah, and that's very powerful. I love it. I understand what you mean. I hope I hope everyone understands what I mean. So we've had a wonderful opportunity sharing space and time with the Whiz Queen herself. And I just want to say a big thank you to you, Bisola Tijani, for what you are doing. and for being a thriving immigrant, and for also empowering the community, sharing insights that can really help people to make smart decisions with their money. So, on this note, I would like to say a big thank you to you, my listener, for listening, for tuning in. If you are listening to me for the first time, I just want you to understand that I'm here because of you. I'm doing this because of you. So, follow me on social media, on Instagram, on X, and on YouTube. I remain Paul Adeyeye, your host, and the show remains The Thriving Immigrant. Thank you. Till I come your way again. Have a wonderful one.
Thank you. Bye.